In this tutorial, we want to talk about how we go about rendering this. So this is a piece I created earlier today, and this is the one I decided to render. And I did a couple of bridges. I bridged here, and then I went on the bottom, and then bridged between them, and twisted the whole thing. And I thought it was kind of a interesting sculptural piece. So let's get started on rendering this. So this time we're not going to create any lights, but we do need to create a material, and the material we're going to create is just going to be a blend. And I'm going to double click this, and we're trying to create something like a chrome material. And the way you create a chrome material is the color really doesn't matter because everything's going to be reflected. I could put pink in there, it really wouldn't matter. But what does matter is this diffuse. I want to take that all the way down. This eccentricity I want to really low, probably 0.01 or maybe 0.1. And then specular roll off we might take up to 1.5. Specular color, and take our reflectivity all the way up. The reflected color, I don't know what that needs to be on. I don't know what the defaults are. But let's, I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle. Okay. And I'm going to right click this and assign existing material, chrome matte. That didn't work for some reason. Assign existing material, chrome matte. There we go. So, and right now I'm going to mental ray, and what I've done is I used the 1, 2, 3 thing. You know, the 1 is polygon, the 3 is smooth. Once I found something that was smooth how I wanted it, then I went and I went to modify, convert my mesh preview to polygon. So I did that. That's why I have so many polygons here. And so I really don't need to hit 3 now. So this is what I'm going to send to the render. So I'm going to render this out. And you notice you don't see much. And the reason is this is completely reflective and we have no environment. Well, Mental Ray has a really cool feature for creating environments, and it's called image-based lighting. It's in indirect lighting, and at the very top it has image-based lighting. It has a place where you can create it. And when you create image-based lighting, it creates a sphere around your scene, which will you can put an image on, and that the pixels from those images, the colors will come into your scene as light, which is really cool, and it will show up in reflections. So let's render, and we still don't see anything. I'm like, well, that image-based lighting is not very you know, what's the deal there? Well, we have to put an image in there, and not just any image, but there's a special type of image called an HDRI, or high dynamic range image. I'm not going to get into what an HDRI is because it gets very technical, but I will say that they are online. You can find them online for free, and that's what I found this website here. All I did is Google free HDRI, and I'm going to select one, and there were several, and this is one I found. Let's see if I can go back. HDRI Hub. So this was it, and I might get actually I like this one here. That one's a cool one too. I'm going to probably do this one again, and go ahead and download it, and it's going to come in a zip file. I'm going to drag that to my desktop and unzip it. Okay, and just going to replace that. Okay. Alright, so I have the unzip folder. Looks like this on my desktop. Alright, so now in the, I know I'm glossing over this, but I don't want to get into the details. I just want to show you how to put an image-based light on an environment dome. And if you want to look into what an HDRI is and more details, that's cool. But alright, so I'm going to my desktop and I'm finding that free HDR, and it has an HDR suffix, and it's a pretty big file, 14 megabytes. So I'm going to open that, and as I do, it gets put on this environment dome, and that becomes the reflection that I will see. Now when I first render, it's actually going to be in the background. So you're noticing it's there in the background, and I just happened to put I didn't actually plan on that, but it looks like the vase is there in the scene. That's pretty cool. But I don't really want to see it here. I just want it visible in reflection. So I go to my HDR, my mental ray IBL shape. IBL is image-based lighting shape, and we want to come down to render stats. And render stats, I want to turn primary visibility off where I won't see it, but it will still be visible in the environment and in reflections. And so let's do another render. And the quality of reflections you get from an HDRI image is just so much better than like putting an environment in. Now these are a little dull, and that may be my reflection color on my material. I really don't know. Let's see if I have, or I also know you can go into this color gain of your IBL node, and you can overdrive these values to RG and B. So I can take this to 3, and this to 3, and this to 3. You're like, how can it be whiter than white? Well, it can because so I'm doing done, and that should brighten up my HDR. Maybe too much, but oh, there it is, much better. So for what I want from you this week is I want you to post a render to the exercise, one render, find a really nice view, maybe two, of your object, and create that chrome material. I want you to create an environment dome, pick an HDR out. That one I use is a really good one. You may have to bump the color gain up, and that's what I'm looking for. And in your render settings, you want to make sure the quality is production. On the indirect lighting, you also want to come down here and turn final gathering on, which that helps the this image-based light actually act like a light when you have that turned on. On your quality, you want to go to production, and I guess it's go to production quality first, and then final gather, and then in your common settings, go ahead and do something larger than 20 or than your 640 by 480. I went to full 1024. We could actually do a 1080 screen. All right, and that's and close that. And these renders are going to take a bit longer, and you don't want your object really small either. That you're going to use all this time to render out this huge image, and your pot's really small. So go ahead and zoom in if you need to take a look at your film gate to make sure, but go ahead and get as much in that frame as you can. And sometimes it will even render a little bit in or outside of this, depending. And then let's do a render. Alright, so it's going to start off, it's kind of jaggedy, but it does one kind of pass and then it comes back. And that took 14 seconds. That took a lot less time than I thought it would. So that's how you would create a kind of a chrome texture by using an environment. And I might, if going back, I might turn down my gain on my image baseline. I might have put in too much there. And also the angle of your camera is going to determine what's being reflected. Like I'm above it looking down, that's why I'm getting a lot of ground here. If I was at a low point looking up, I might get something more interesting and more sky in my. You can also kind of look around in your image based lighting and where's the sun. So if I did want to get the sun reflected in here, I might come from an angle that would reflect that. I don't know where that would be, but I'm going to try to come lower this time to see if I can get less of that paving pattern. And I bet the quality of that, yeah, you see a lot more sky. It looks a lot more. So just remember that as you're doing these renders, the angle of your camera facing the render is going to have a big impact on how well it looks like Chrome or the interest it has. Alright, so that's it. And make sure you post your render to the exercise discussion and give your thoughts about it and post a few thoughts about other folks' render. And good luck on your project this week, and I look forward to seeing your artistic creations. I'll see you.